That was just a test. I'm kidding.
It takes too much effort to say it.
Supposed to be guys squats.
All right. Bill, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Welcome to the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. It's Thursday, June 4th, 2020. And on my left is Commissioner Aaron Mays, who represents District 3, and on my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. I'm Bill Rippon, and I represent District 1. What's first?
First item is item 2, unfinished business, discussion on tentatively reopening county facilities. Was the item deferred from May 28th.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Spectre Venue Management in the Stormont Vale Event Center. I want to take some time today to run through briefly our venue reopening plans, some policies and procedural changes that we've made at the facility, and an anticipated reopening date. So right now, we'll start there. We are expecting and anticipating a reopening date of Monday, July the 8th, July the 6th. That is assuming that the social distancing guidelines as well as mass gathering restrictions continue on pace as we have seen them over the past number of weeks. So right now, I think part of today's discussion is moving into phase 3. We would essentially need to move into phase 4 or 5 to be able to produce events of the size and scope that our facilities handle. During this reopening timeframe of that July 6th date, we wouldn't be 100% fully reopened to things like concerts or large conventions, trade shows, or exhibition gatherings. We're more so looking at some of our smaller pieces of business. That's our equine and equestrian type content that takes place in Domer livestock facilities, some of our smaller exhibition shows that take place in Agricultural Hall, and things like weddings and banquets that take place in Heritage Hall. Some of the items that we have prepared over the last number of weeks, both through corporate level at our Spectra headquarters in Philadelphia, as well as locally, are a number of procedural guidelines that we are going to be rolling out during this reopening process. One of those is temperature checks. Our policy on temperature checks for all Spectra venues is that every person coming into the facility that is either an employee, a subcontractor, a part of a show, anybody from a working capacity coming into the facilities will be getting a temperature check upon their arrival. And for general public and or patrons who are coming to attend events, they will not be getting temperature checks, but everybody from a working capacity would be getting temperature checks coming into the venue. This would include things like third-party contractors for our cleaning services, our security services, some of our material delivery personnel, as well as our construction crews and subcontractors on the construction team. We do have a meeting set up with McCown Gordon this week, and later today, in fact, to discuss that policy, our Spectra policy, and how we plan to implement that from a construction and contractor level. They are doing similar processes on some of their job sites around the state. I know one in particular is a hospital project that they're working on outside of Manhattan, where they're currently doing these same policies and procedures. So making sure we can get those followed and move into that as our reopening is going to be important. From a employee standpoint, a lot of our measures and policies and procedures are to limit the amount of physical contact with patrons as much as possible. Our personnel that work in our event services department and our security departments will be wearing full PPE protective equipment during events and pre-events, especially the ones that are coming into direct contact with those patrons. So those are folks like ticket scanners, our security teams who are doing bag checks and or magnetometer wanding for metal detection. We will also be moving to more cashless options and more limited physical contact with payment processing. One thing we're looking at is acquiring some additional credit card machines that would be placed on the exterior side of our box office windows, so patrons don't have to pass their box office windows. They can process a transaction right outside, therefore keeping them safer and our employees safer during those transactional periods. We're looking at things and ordering pieces of infrastructure for our concession departments. Those are things like plexiglass screens that limit the amount of contact between our concession staff and patrons when they're at the venues. We're also looking at increasing our MERV HVAC filter capacity. Right now we use a MERV 9 filter. We're going to be moving that up to a MERV 13 filter, which helps reduce the amount of potential contaminants in the air, virus, bacteria, that can get through those filtration systems for HVAC. Those are the basics of our venue reopening policy. One thing I wanted to talk with you today is we are requesting that we require face masks upon re-entry to the venue, whether that be for staff, for a lot of our third-party contractor personnel, our construction teams, to wear masks when they are inside the facilities. When they're outside the facilities, we won't make that a requirement, but we are requesting to require masks inside the facility for both patrons, guests, and staff, and any third-party contractors. So I would pose that question to you if you find that acceptable on our behalf. If not, we can certainly make it a recommendation. We will still be mandating that through our staff and third-party contractors that we can control, but it more so comes down to your blessing to allow us to do that, I believe.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Kellen, if you could you start us out talking about how the COVID crisis has impacted the Stormont Vale Center, how Spectra has responded? I mean, we had a lot of events that were scheduled that are now delayed or postponed or canceled. So how has the COVID crisis affected the Stormont Vale Event Center?
Sure. Much like the majority of our industry, the COVID-19 pandemic caused quite a bit of grinding to a screeching halt, let's say. All of our content that was due to take place during this quarter two has primarily been rescheduled into quarter four. We are starting to see some events look at pushing into 2020. One thing that we've seen that impacts us on a little bit different capacity is that, you know, all of the content or most of the content that we have from a live touring ticketed standpoint is not just playing in Topeka. These are pieces of business that are traveling throughout the country. So although our market might not be as deeply impacted or affected by the virus, some of the markets that might be preceding or following our events would be impacted. So we're starting to see a little bit of a shift in the way that these routes are developed from booking agencies and event producers and event promoters, which is certainly causing more conflict. But you also see the positive aspect on the other side. We're very actively engaged in trying to solicit and contract new content that may have been moved off of other markets where they can't find rescheduled dates for them. We've gotten a lot of content that we're holding in 2021, especially in early quarter one of 2021. So hopefully we'll see a big resurgence and a big number of announcements to make for event on sales and pre-sales that take place during that time.
delaying events, having events postponed or canceled, that loss of revenue, furloughing employees, those were all the negatives from the COVID. And about the positive from maybe 2021, what other positives have we had? Have we had any positives come out of the crisis just from the lack of events?
Sure. I guess you know the main positive you can look at is it certainly hasn't hindered our construction progress. So you know, our construction teams have found a wealth of additional opportunity and freeing up of the schedule where they would typically have to work around these events. They have been able to work pretty much uninhibited for the last 2.5 months on this construction project. That does a number of things. It advances our delivery timeline. It gives us the ability to have some of these elements and infrastructural pieces that are part of the renovation ready to go once we do reopen. So there has been a significant amount of positive from a construction and build-out standpoint and from a booking standpoint. Obviously, from a financial standpoint, not having revenues and events that produce revenue has been very difficult. We've been sharing the financial forecasting with you on a monthly basis, and you can see kind of where those things are playing out. It's not as bad as many other markets. We're certainly not seeing the devastating impacts that some of our larger top-tier, you know, major metropolitan communities are seeing, but it's still a very big impact for us.
I noticed the parking lot looks excellent, and the aerials really highlight the work that's been done there. The expansion of Exhibition Hall looks like it's coming along great.
Yeah.
The outside of the building where we're working on the escalator coming along.
Yeah.
The refacing.
Yeah, there's you know, you touched on just about everything. Inside the building, we've been able to start build out an expansion of our new concession areas in Landon Arena. We've been able to start the build out and expansion of our patron services centers in Exhibition Hall, which are new concession stands, restrooms, storage areas. A lot of the finished siding work is going up on Exhibition Hall. Our Domer livestock arena has been fully finished. We actually just did a punch walk on it last week, so that's about 100% ready to go. We're just waiting to get things lifted so we can start getting events back in there.
And then the Alice Cooper, I was very disappointed to see Alice Cooper postponed. But I think it may be even a better concert with the announcement yesterday.
Yeah, we were a bit disappointed to see a lot of those events postponed. However, the Alice Cooper concert, I'll take a postponement that falls on Halloween with Alice Cooper any day of the week. So I think that's going to be certainly a fun night and certainly a much better date, in my opinion, for an Alice Cooper show.
A Friday Halloween at Swan Event Center with Alice Cooper, I mean, that's pretty big for Topeka.
It's going to be a pretty fun place to be.
Thank you.
I got a chance to play with the lights a little bit in
Yeah.
there, and I think people are going to like what they see there. It's not only is it just much brighter in there, but these lights can be adjusted for different sports. The lighting you use for hockey is different than for basketball, say, and just all the different effects you can do with the lights. I think it's going to be fantastic. I had a question concerning more with the virus. Is Spectra giving you any kind of corporate guidance on how to open these venues, or
Yes, yeah. So we've developed a full 28-page reopening assessment guideline that I've shared. Unfortunately, I don't think it got to your inbox because it was too large, but I passed out hard copies today. So, yeah, we have a full venue reopening guideline that we've taken over the past couple of weeks and modified to our local level. A lot of the stuff doesn't account for our facility, so we've got to make modifications to what we can physically do, and so we've done that. Some of the big elements, though, that are being pushed from a corporate level are the masks and temperature check screenings for everybody in the building. So those are two key pieces that we really want to focus on.
with the Domer facility finished now?
Yeah.
Are we going to start events there just soon?
Part of the reopening plan is not only just when we can produce vents, it's when we can bring staff back. We have furloughed, we had a 25, roughly 25-person full-time staff. We have furloughed down to 8 full-time employees, and we have furloughed about 130 part-time employees throughout this challenge, just because we don't have the events taking place that can support their services at this time. So reopening is a big piece of that. It's very tough for us to reopen under the gathering restrictions that are in place. Not that there's anything wrong with the gathering restrictions, it's just the general size of our facilities and the amount of patronage that we do at these events doesn't correlate with those restrictions. So when we do have that anticipated gathering restriction size up to about that 140, 150 level, which I think is proposed in phase 4 or 5, we would be able to start reopening and producing these types of events. But we certainly don't feel comfortable doing that before those gathering restrictions are in place.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
the document that you shared, outline for that was developed, you said about 28 pages long.
Yeah.
Would it be your request that the county commission adopt that as our standard operating procedure for the event center?
Sure. There's a couple other things. We just finished up our temperature check policy that I would like to add to that as well. And we have a modifications document that we provided as well that is our localized modifications to that reopening plan. I think all of those encompassed as one document would be what we request for your approval.
Because I would like for whatever we adopt to be very clean, so that it's very
Yep.
clear for Ms. Beck that, even if we have the
I would also recommend that perhaps you run that by your board before
Sure.
bringing it here, just to make sure that their recommendations are coming from the Stormont-Vail Event Center board.
Sure, absolutely.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Helen. All right. Next,
Item 3, consent agenda.
I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $690,656.07. The highlights out of the voucher report, the largest expenditure was in our Capers account, $333,432.36. Holding accounts with the state of Kansas was $79,935.25. Under our equipment fund, we have a total of $1,601.45. The majority of that was for concrete repair along the Deer Creek Trail. And then under building and maintenance, we have $27,899.90. And those were with tailor-made for the installment of safety surface at Betty Phillips Park and with Merricrete for sidewalks at several parks. I don't have any questions regarding the vouchers and would move for their approval.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider.
Next item.
Item B, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to A, advertise and fill the following 2 vacant positions. Number 1, park maintenance lead worker, aquatics, at a salary including benefits of $53,164.80. A natural area specialist at a salary including benefits of $48,626.40. Item B, reclassify the recreation program position to a recreation program manager at a salary including benefits of $49,836.80. And C, filling any positions that become vacant due to filling these positions.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. Just want to note that we have worked with the HR Department and Angela Lewis on these job descriptions, position descriptions. We've also run this by Betty Griner in Audit Finance. Our current budget will pay for all of these positions. They're all accounted for in our current budget. And with that, I'd open it up for any questions.
The park maintenance lead worker, what will be their,
Yeah, that's, the gentleman that's currently in that position is, as fate would have it, his retirement date is June 22nd, which happens to be the day that we're scheduled to open all of our pools. The person is responsible for maintaining all of our pools. So their main responsibility is taking care of our aquatic facilities.
okay. Will they have enough time to,
Yeah, we're working, yes, I mean, we'll get by. I mean, we won't fill this position if we get approval today on the 22nd, more than likely, but, yeah, we've been planning for it, and I think we'll be just fine.
and then our maintenance tech for natural areas, this will be trails and natural areas, I take it?
Primarily trails, nature areas, yes.
Speaking of trails, where are we on the Shunga Trail where we had that, we had some flooding issues?
Right, well, I know currently,
Wash
I
it.
know the city of Topeka has been doing quite a bit of work down there in the creek bed itself.
They get
clearing
that
some
tree out of
trails.
there
They
that was
did,
the
and-
offending organ?
And I think they've done some more work on some other trees that look like they might have a possibility of falling. So that's really where we are right now. A large section of the trail had to be removed, so we'll be up here at some point shortly asking to move forward with repairs.
Okay.
I know this isn't what you came here to talk about right now, but
Sure.
while we're on the topic, I did have somebody call me and ask if we could put some kind of a gravel trail as a detour. He said right now, there's not really instruction. People are going to the street, but they're all going in different directions to get there, and so.
That has been discussed, and I think that's the way, I wish it was in our.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'd move to approve.
I'll second. Okay. Motion's been made by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. I have two announcements this morning. First is this Saturday, June 6th, will be our Saturday collection event for the household hazardous waste. So for all that stuff that the residents have found over the past couple months, cleaning out their garages, feel free to bring it out. For a complete list, visit the household hazardous waste page. And we recommend you get there early and please stay in your vehicle. The time frame, again, is on Saturday. This will be the only event that we have until August 1st because we skipped the July Saturday event. And second is glass recycling. This Monday, we started dropping our glass recycling containers. We currently have them in 5 locations. I'm happy to announce Lowe's came on board this morning and allowed us to drop a container over in the Lowe's parking lot. So we do have one within the city limits on the west side of town. And we are actively looking for other areas that we can place these containers within the city. The 5 locations are the Wiener's Thriftway out in Rossville, Kansas, the Household Hazardous Waste Facility up on Northeast 46th Street, the Albert Neese Masonic Lodge over at Shawnee Heights and 45th Street, and then District 2 Public Works down in Auburn, and then lastly Lowe's over off of Argonia Place. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Ms. Mill?
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. I did want to make an announcement that, like Tim said, our goal is to have our aquatic facilities open on the 22nd. Obviously, we're not going to open a facility if we can't ensure the safety of the public. So we're still needing lifeguards. So please, if you need a summer job, your children need a summer job, have them contact us, go to our county website, and we'll get you hired. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Citizen reporting tool that we were using. At that point in time, the YourGov application fulfilled some of our needs, but not quite as many as we had hoped they would. So we decided to go ahead and take advantage of their recent partnership with SeeClickFix to implement that as our new reporting application. Our thought behind that after doing research was that the city of Topeka was utilizing the same app, so to make it easier, instead of citizens having to learn two different, we wanted to set it up so that they could have just one system to report to either entity. The nice thing on that is with the generic application, not the city-specific one, a citizen can report anything and it will automatically route to the corresponding agency responsible for it. So be it a county road, it will go to our Public Works. If it's within city limits, it goes to City of Topeka. If it's a Parks and Recreation issue, then it routes to us. I would be happy to stand for any questions you may have on the system.
Josh, thank you for coming today. I was not aware that we had participated or started the SeeClickFix until approximately 2 weeks ago. I had a constituent had sent me a follow-up, and I'm glad to see that we're participating. I would like to get the word out and asking you to come here today. I hope that maybe if there's a moment, the media might be able to talk to you about, and then maybe getting on our website, the ability for the public to participate in SeeClickFix. There's a lot of applications. If a person is in the county and they have a culvert that's not draining, they would be able to take a picture of it and send it in, and it's going to go to Public Works?
Correct. And I do appreciate the opportunity to come down and speak this morning. The reason you're pretty much just now hearing about it is, being a new system, we went through, set up a soft launch for it. We got the system set up. There's been some learning curves in terms of staff training. We're working through that. There's also been some bugs. We've had some issues where citizens will report something, say they see it in a park, but they go home and report it then. It shows up on the map as being at their house, so it routes to the city. So we've been working with SeeClickFix on instances like them so that we can respond in a much more efficient manner.
And then, is there a way where the commissioners might be able to maybe get a monthly update as to the issues raised or the public inquiries, and just so that we're aware? I don't know that we necessarily need to have our inboxes flooded daily with every SeeClickFix alley report, so that if we see things in our district, we would be able to follow up on them as well.
Most definitely, we could do that. If there's specific information that you would like included within that report, please let me know. That way we can get that taken care of ahead of time if you would like.
Well, and I think this is a great application. The Crow has an idea of exactly what's going on. If they're at a park, they're being able to take a picture of whatever the issue may be, send it in, and then it's going right to Parks and Rec, and they can follow up on it.
I particularly like the fact that it's very interactive. So as we get staff set up within it, when the requests come in, we can communicate throughout the process. Instead of just waiting until things are done, we can make sure that they know that we've acknowledged it, let them know where we're at with everything. We can also set up follow-up questions on things. So if you have, say, an obstructed view at an intersection, we can set the system so that when you put that request in, it asks you a question of what exactly it is that is obstructing the view, so when we get there, we know what we're looking for outside of what they give us in the description and the photo.
Jim,
I have a question, because I know we've,
yeah.
Jim Krause, Shawnee County Councilor. I have a question, because I know we've worked on this issue a lot. There's always confusion about county road, township road, city street. I filed this complaint. I see that it's going to the county or to the city.
Yes, we've got it set up in the background to make it easier for the citizens to not have to sit and think, is this a city issue, a county issue? Once it's recorded in the system, the GIS behind the scenes, the city has theirs within it, we have ours. That's what causes the routing based on the GIS boundaries. Once it hits the system, it goes to the corresponding agency, and an acknowledgement is automatic to Topeka or Shawnee County.
So if there's an issue at the Soldier Township, they're North Shawnee County, they take a picture of a culvert issue where it's not draining in the ditch, gets sent to Public Works at the county would then say, this really isn't our road, we're forwarding this on to Soldier Township, so they're aware of it.
Correct. We've also had issues where people have reported things that have been in, like, playground areas at private apartment complexes. Sometimes that's been routed to us. Part of that communication, we appreciate the ability to get on there and state, thank you for reporting this. This, however, is private property. Please follow up with the owner.
Again, I think there's a lot of great applications for this.
Who monitors this application? When these requests come in, who's looking? Is it Parks and Rec, or is it Public Works, or?
It depends on who's responsible. We've got it set up based on issue that things like playground repair will go to Parks and Rec, but there is a request issue of sign repair and then one for sign repair Public Works. So if it's sign repair, it routes to Parks and Rec. If it's sign repair PW, it goes to Public Works. I get a copy of every request that comes through so that I can kind of check up on things, and then we've got it set to go to corresponding staff within each department. So if we have an issue of, say, like a limb down, that will go to our natural area staff as opposed to the playground repairs, which would go to our park maintenance staff.
Okay, but all the requests, do they go to one central location? I guess that's what I'm not following.
No, they go to whoever the supervisor is responsible for that particular area, and then I get a copy of everything.
So you're the administrator, so you're going to have a copy of everything that's made.
Yes,
Okay.
and for example, I think it was like 8:03 this morning, a pothole issue was posted on West Edge Road. It went to Public Works. I looked it over. They followed up with me to make sure that we follow up because it's a Parks and Rec maintained road.
Good. Great.
Okay.
And if the commissioners can get maybe a monthly update, you think it would be helpful for us just to kind of see what the issues are?
I will definitely put that on my calendar. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dustin Nichols, Emergency Management. I just wanted to say thanks to this whole program as well. When we're looking at mitigation, Commissioner Rippon and I are working on a culvert bridge now in Rossville. So this kind of stuff comes in handy when we're looking at mitigation projects and restoring bridges and culverts back to their original state. This provides excellent documentation. So thank you. That's excellent.
Thank you. All right. Commission, oh, I'm sorry.
Aaron Mahan, Shawnee County Emergency Management. Just a real quick update, if you will. Unfortunately, with some of the events we've seen around Topeka and Shawnee County, and of course Kansas and the United States. Once again, that we dealt with approximately 2.5 months ago was a rumor that's now reared its ugly head again, referenced National Guard activities in and around Shawnee County and the state. I want to impress upon everybody the National Guard right now is being used exclusively to assist local emergency managers and meals for first responders, medical facilities, and other agencies. We are supporting that locally through some of our resources that they've asked for us from. However, the rumor of the National Guard being called in to carry out some type of a military or law enforcement action is currently untrue, Shawnee County and Topeka. The rumor specifically states this triggers what they're referring to as the Stafford Act. The Stafford Act has absolutely nothing to do with law enforcement or military action when it comes to response to what may be occurring in and around the local community or the nation. The Stafford Act strictly allows local agencies, partners, management to work through the state, which can trigger that action to be able to work with other states to acquire knowledge, resources, subject matter expertise through the use of what's called an EMAC, or an Emergency Management Assistance Compact. It allows us to manage our local incidents, once again, through resources, funds, and expertise as we may need, especially resources. As we've seen the last 2 to 3 months, resources can be extremely difficult to come by at times. So it allows the states, especially those immediately adjoining the state of Kansas, to share resources, try to find resources, use them collectively, and share information back and forth. So I would urge people to go out and do their own specific research on the Robert T. Stafford Act in order to gain a full understanding of exactly what that does.
Thank you, Aaron. Anyone else? Commissioner Cook?
I don't have anything for today, but again, just be weather aware as this is that time.
It is hot. Commissioner Mays?
Nothing for me.
I don't have anything either, so, we are scheduled to go into well, we have the agenda. Do we want to do that first? I think we have to. Okay, I'm going to make a motion to go into an executive session for a period not to exceed 20 minutes for the following reasons. For the primary discussion of acquisition of real property, specifically to discuss two properties for Parks and Recreation Department, 10 minutes each. We would like Tim Laurent, Parks and Rec Director, to attend. No actions expected at this time. Second. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. We're now in executive session. We are back in session, no actions taken, and so we'll take a 5-minute break, and then we'll start our health board meeting, okay?
Yeah, for the
Yeah, yeah.
commission, I called and they said that public could.
Oh, we asked for public comment. No, go ahead.
Oh,
But please just state your name for the record.
Oh.
Are you recording yet? Just a second.
yes.
No problem.
Yeah, hang on, because she's got ours recording, okay?
Okay, we're good.
And I apologize, am I on?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Earl McIntosh, and I'm a longtime resident of Shawnee County and Topeka, and I'm also an oath keeper. Police officers, peace officers, firefighters, first responders, and military. I don't know if you remember, I was the last person to speak publicly in March before you closed for public comment. I would like to just recap briefly for the people who are watching on TV and for you guys then. As an oath keeper, we encourage people to keep their oaths they took to defend the U.S. and the state constitution. That's what we're about, is encouraging people to keep their oaths. I provided you a copy of the oaths you took before taking office, and I'm just going to read that. This is what the oaths you guys took for office. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office. So help me God, and all three of you signed it. I also provided you copies of the federal and the state Bill of Rights, and I didn't read them all to you, but I did point out discrimination of the Kansas governor that would unfold. By order, she would limit services to 10 people. She would restrict religious services but allow, for example, Sam's Club. Why on churches? The Kansas Attorney General wrote, he opined, that her orders were against the Kansas Constitution, that she only had to let the 2 churches meet and the rest of the churches still on religious liberty. Congress shall make no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise of thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble to petition the government for a redress of, nor shall any person be compelled to attend or support any form of worship, nor shall any control of or interference with the rights of the given by law to any religious establishment or mode of worship. No religious test or property qualifications shall be required for any office of public trust, nor for any vote at any elections, nor shall any person be incompetent to testify on the account of religious beliefs. Before I ask you my question and let you know the reason I'm here, I would like to thank Commissioner Rippon for, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly, for challenging the governor publicly on her orders to keep us close. Thank you. My question to each of you is, if you contact the governor, why didn't you question her or her staff in writing or by phone of why she had church's orders to, they can't meet more than.
Neither did I.
Nor have I.
Okay, I do want to say that I am very disappointed in all three of you. I respect all three of you. I like all three of you. But you are our last line of defense to protect our constitutional rights, and nothing is more sacred than our freedom of religion. Now, I have no problem if the governor would have come out and requested the church's limit. I believe 99% of the churches in this county would have complied with that. I really believe that. I go to church every Sunday, and I respect the authority of the people who are elected over me. But there's a difference between compulsory and voluntary, and she put her foot down and would not let churches meet. I do want to state that the President of the United States said all churches were essential, and he ordered all governors to open the churches because we are essential. So as I stated before, you guys are special. That's why you took that oath and you signed it before God, that you have to question all authority when it pertains to civil rights. You're the last line of defense for our freedoms and liberties. That's what makes counties special. I believe our country is in deep trouble, and I believe as we get closer to election, organized crises are going to be coming. And I ask you, to be prepared for that. And as a citizen of Shawnee County and Topeka, I'm asking you to question any authority. So if something comes up and things are forced upon you, to question the constitutionality of everything, put that first in a thought. You have a duty to protect our freedoms. That's all I have. I appreciate the opportunity to address each of you, and I wish you the best. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions? Thank you, Earl.
Thank you, Earl.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay. Now we're adjourned, I guess.
Here. I
And
guess
we need to change a
adjourn.
card out, so why don't we take a 5-minute break while we get that card switched out, so.